everyone, I'm Richard Boas III here at LCAR. I am chairman of the Member Engagement Committee. Here to do a little bit of a short video today on the topic of Elaine Vehovic. So as many of you know, we have several awards that we award to our members at the end of the year, and one of those is the Volunteer Award in memory of Elaine Vehovic, and just kind of started the conversation of, you know, who is Elaine Vehovic, because many of our, especially newer members may not know who she is. So just thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of put a spotlight on her, and I thought what better way to do that than to talk to someone who knew her. So I am joined today by Gary Schlectic. Gary, thank you so much for joining me and talking about Elaine.
Anytime, Richard, anytime.
So how did you meet Elaine? How did you know her?
I kind of feel like the LCAR historian here. Elaine Vehovic was the sales manager and general manager of what had originally been the Riley Horst organization. Okay. We were purchased by a company out of Wilmington, the Gary Scott Company, based at, and many of you will recognize this address, 500 Delp Road, which is now the Remax office.
Remax, yeah.
And Elaine, at that time we had two offices, 500 Delp Road and one in Lebanon. Couldn't tell you the address, but I could still drive you there. Elaine was the general manager and became the sales manager, and she was a sweetheart. She was like the real estate Mary Poppins. She was such a pleasant person, and she was highly involved in the Association of Realtors. In fact, had she not passed from cancer in 1991, she would have been the incoming president for the association. When she passed, a group of our agents approached Frank Christabel, who was the president at the time, or the CEO, whatever the title is. Sorry. And sorry, Frank. And they came up with the idea of this Volunteer of the Year award because she was so integral in the association for many years. We took up an office collection to fund the original series of plaques, and it just went on from there. It's really kind of hard to believe it's been 32 years. By the time we see this, it'll be 32 years since she passed away.
Wow. It's a long time. What was your relationship with her specifically?
So I started as a sales manager, or actually a sales associate. I became an assistant sales manager for her after I had been in the business a little over 3 years. Elaine was a worker. She always was thinking of her agents, the industry, and she probably delayed going to the doctor too long. She knew she was having some challenges, and when she finally went, she had basically stage 4 cancer. Started as ovarian cancer and metastasized all over the place. And within 2 weeks, she was out on hospital leave, and I was now the sales manager of 2 offices after a full 2.5 years in the business. And over the next 8 months, Elaine, literally from her bed, trained me to replace herself as the manager and general manager of what was then be Gary Scott.
Wow. So that sounds pretty intense. Do you have any stories about Elaine that you want to tell us about?
I have one, and this one's, there's things that you can't unsee and unhear. And this was back in the days of the MLS book, which is this thick, came out every 2 weeks. And the only real way to get familiar with the properties was to go on office tour. So, which we did. Every week, sales meeting, followed by office tour. And one that is burned in my memory was a tour where we went to a house in Columbia, and it was on the main drag, when you get off there by the Turkey Hill Experience. And Elaine was asked by the listing agent who couldn't make it, could you take over in my stead? So we pulled up to the house, and we She knocked on the door, introduced herself. At that time, we probably had 30 or 35 people on tour. Introduced herself to the owner, who let us in. We walked all through the property, and we came out, and Elaine was saying, well, thank you for letting us in, and you have a lovely home. And it really wasn't. It did not look prepared for what we were doing. And the owner said, now, why again are you here? Well, it turned out the house wasn't for sale. We were at the proper house number on the north end of the street. The house we really had listed was on the south end of the street. So here the entire tour went through a house that wasn't listed.
And the owners just let you guys walk around?
The owner just let us in. And Elaine, she apologized so profusely, and she was so sweet to the lady. And Lee's like, I wondered why everybody was walking through my home, and we're just kind of standing around, half laughing, half aghast. And Elaine, true to form, said, well, look, now that we're all familiar with your home, if you're thinking of selling it, you should give me a call, and handed her the card. As we were walking away, things happen in groups. We're walking down the street, and one of our female agents had on a long black skirt, and somehow the person walking behind her stepped on the skirt, and she walked right out of it. Right there on Main Street, Columbia, standing there in her underwear. It was, wow. You can't unsee it. Elaine quickly reacted. She said, everybody circle around Shirley and turn out, like facing away, so she could put her clothes back on right there on the street. And we laughed about it, but that was how quick she was and how concerned she was. It was really neat. The other real memory I have of her was literally the last memory I have of Elaine. And try and do this without getting a little choked up, but I went to her house one afternoon to pick up some papers she had to sign. And it was clear the end was coming. 75 pounds in a hospital bed on oxygen in their living room. And she said to me, she said, I might not see you again. And I was like, oh, don't say that, kind of trying to bravado type of thing. And she said to me, she said, Gary, I gave my life for the real estate industry. I gave up vacations with my family. I didn't go to the doctor when I should. I probably wouldn't be here if I had taken better care of myself, but I was wanting to take care of my people and serve the association. And she said, whatever you do, take care of your family, take care of your people, take care of yourself. Don't do it like I did it. And that left a lasting impression on me. But that was the kind of person she was. She worked up till the last day of her life. And the next morning I got a call from her husband, Joe, and he said she had passed in her sleep. And that was the end.
That really just sort of tragic to hear, but also just something that you can kind of learn from and take from. Don't take life for granted, and enjoy every minute of it, and enjoy the people that are around you, because you just don't know what life can do. What kind of impact do you think she had on LCAR and just the real estate industry?
Oh my goodness, the people she touched over the time she was in the industry was amazing. Again, it's 32 years ago.
Yeah.
So many of those folks have retired or left the industry. There's probably a handful of us now that were there at the time. But I think just the fact that we're giving out an award in her name that honors volunteerism, which was what she was all about.
It's very fitting.
It's extremely fitting, and it's a shame that everybody couldn't have met her.
Yeah, I wish I could have met her.
Yeah, she was a good person, and worthy of creating an award after.
Yeah, I mean, they don't just name awards put an honor of an award just for anybody. I mean, you have to have a significant impact on the people around you. But yeah, it sounds like she was an amazing woman, and just some of the people I've talked to who maybe didn't know her as well as you have, but who knew her, nothing but just positive things to say, and just sounds like a person that just you would want to be around.
She was a great representative of our industry, and I appreciate being able to tell her story, what little bit of it I could.
Well, Gary, I really do appreciate you taking the time to sit with me and talk about Elaine. Probably a little bit difficult in some respects, but I think it's great for the association to kind of know who she was, and the impact that she made on the industry. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Enjoyed it.